So the argument goes something like this. The Quran said that if Muhammad invents anything about Allah, he will grab him by the right hand, God will, and seize and basically sever his aorta. David Wood argues that this is what the Hadith claims actually happened, therefore nullifying the prophethood of Muhammad. Let's take a look to see how good this argument is. Now, I myself have had many debates with David Wood. I even had dinner with him. You can see some of them online, but I'll tell you what, let's just jump into the material. Okay. So the first problem of this video, it's terribly abusive. It's filled with insults, just a level of arrogance, which honestly I have not even seen it that bad. Filled with mockery, insults, and abuse. This has nothing to do in when we really want to find the truth of something and we want to debate and discuss religion. We should do these things respectfully. But that's a good sign. I mean, of course, I don't like seeing insults about my religion, but it's a very good sign. And I'll tell you why. Because I show that it's a bad argument. And so what you're doing, you're trying to fill it, the fact that you don't have facts to back up what you're saying, you then have to resort to the type of abuse and mockery and ridicule. I've seen it happen many times. So there is a refutation, which is probably far better than what I can do, which you can find over here. The first part of this, the Quran uses the word aorta. It translates it as the word Wateen. In the Hadith, which David Wood is referring to, it's a complete different word. The word there is Abhar, which has a different meaning. So his entire argument falls to pieces right here. But it gets worse than that. Muhammad's aorta never got severed. He just said he felt pain from his Abhar. It is true that the translations of the Quran, they translated both words as aorta. Okay, sue them. But you should have enough intelligence, and I'm sure David Wood knows that you got to go one level deep and look at what the Arabic says. And when you do that, you find it's two different words, Abhar and Wateen. But it gets worse. Where is his hand getting seized? Remember, the Quran said he would seize a right hand, or actually this is my left hand, sorry, seize a right hand and cut off the aorta. Where's the right hand stuff? Nowhere is that in any of the text. And there's also another problem here. We see here inside the Hadith, I actually pulled this off of David Wood's video, and he actually refuted himself in the video. He quoted, saying, look, it says over here, the Prophet said, and I do not think about my illness except that this is the time when it cut off my aorta, which we now know is the word Abhar. Do you see the problem there? It's talking about something in the past. If this really did happen, you would not live to tell the story. So this is clearly a figure of speech. As we saw earlier, he said, I feel like if my Abhar was cut. So I really don't think his aorta was cut. And once again, we also don't see the right hand snatching. Remember, it's both, as we saw inside the Quran. No right hand was grabbed. There's another problem. One of the statements he made, he said that that Muhammad died because a Jewish woman poisoned him. This is a rewrite of history. This is nonsense. It's bonkers. As we saw, at the time of his death, he simply felt the pain. As we see inside the following hadith, that it says over here, the Prophet in his ailment in which he died used to say, "O Aisha, I still feel the pain caused by the food I ate at Khaibar. At this time, I feel as if my Abhar is being cut from that poison." It's just a feeling. So the problem here is the real cause of death we don't know. It's an unknown, and we just don't know. But that cause of death agitated the injury which he suffered at the Battle of Khaibar. What's wrong with that? So it must have been some kind of inflammation of his Abhar, which is what he felt. So this what is talking about here, this is simply a symptom he felt. It's not the cause of death. So it's a classic example of the post hoc fallacy, which you can read right over here. Hey, I'm sorry if I'm going too fast for you, but what you could do, you can hit this YouTube video on pause and just read my references here. So let's go to a historical textbook. This book is called Ar-Rahiq al-Maktoum, The Sealed Nectar. It documents and details how Muhammad died. In in his video, he claimed Muhammad died a horrible, terrible death. Tell me if you see any of that here. Okay, so let's just go. And by the way, this book, you can go ahead and you can just put in this Google keyword search and you can download the entire book. It's for free, and I like free stuff. So now I'm just going to go through this very quickly. If you don't want to download the book and just read this, put the YouTube video on pause. I'm going to make my face small here. There we go. Put the YouTube video on pause here and just read this. And tell me if you see anything out of the unusual. David Wood said that Prophet Muhammad died this terrible, cursed death. And he's just full of abuse. Now, show me this. I'm going to scroll through this for you very quickly. 5 days before his death, and you can kind of read over here, I don't see anything here which is out of the ordinary. And finally, we got 4 days before his death over here. He then recommends 3 things. And so you got 2 days prior to his death, a day before his death, and finally, the last day alive. Read through this, if you would. Read through this material, and if you see anything, any fact that would agree with what David Wood said in his video, let me know. But the bottom line is this. Muhammad did not die because of a Jewish woman poisoned him. That is not the cause of death. That was simply a symptom which he felt, and there's no cutting of any kind of aorta or any kind of veins which led to his death. There's no right hand grasping or any of this. So, unfortunately, the problem was making under normal circumstance, I would not have responded to David Wood because, when you see someone engaging inside such verbal abuse and just mockery of your religion, you walk away from those people you call security. But since his video made 1 million people, it's 1 million hits, this video will probably get maybe, I don't know, a couple of hundred at the most. I'll be very shocked if I even get that much. But that just kind of shows you a problem of kind of what we're faced with. But anyways, my email is going to be in the description if you have any questions. And I've invited David Wood to once again debate and discuss or even have a talk with me on this and other topics, actually. And he has refused. Thank you very much for watching this Refutation of David Wood.